part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I'm your host, Damon Royster, and today you are welcome. We are talking about Black Panther. Hell yes. This should be dropping the week of the new Black Panther movie release, if Michael does it right, which he always does. Today, I am joined by two wonderful guests, amazing guests. I didn't even ask how I should introduce them because I know who they are. Back again after conquering Thor: The Dark World. I can't believe he came back after I made him watch that bad movie. It is internet sensation and the child I bore from my womb, Vinny Thomas, everybody. Welcome, Vinny Thomas.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here, although it's a real step down from Damon's womb. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, as I always like to say, there's room for one more. And where our second guest is a musical musical singer extraordinaire. I am blown away every time I see her perform. She's conquered Chicago, LA, star of stage, television, film, I assume.
Yeah, I got a couple credits.
Okay, she got credits. Please welcome to your ears, Rashawn Scott. Hello, Rashawn.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here and discuss this brilliant film.
Brilliant film. I mean, we're talking Black Panther, the only Oscar-nominated Marvel film. Didn't it win for costumes?
Ruth
Carter.
E. Carter. Yes, I believe she did. She's done everybody, like Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing, freaking that Madam C.J. Walker shit that was on Netflix.
Crushed. Damn.
It really was over for everyone when Angela Bassett showed up in that 3D printed thing.
Oh, with this beautiful headdress and the shoulders that just like went out for days. And that was the outfit she wore after her husband passed. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he's dead, but look at me, motherfuckers. I dare you. Yeah, it was great.
He's dead, but I'm alive. And y'all need to know that.
Why was it never considered that she could just be the queen?
Oh.
Huh.
Yes, Vinny?
I think the line is patrilinear, but I don't know because I don't know. We'll figure this out. We're going to crunch the numbers.
We're the ones to figure this out, I think. But
it council of like elders. I know we're jumping around, but I believe there were more men that I could see on that council than women.
There are at least two women on the council.
The mining tribe and the merchant tribe.
Okay. Damn, y'all researched the tribes. I just know the Jabari.
It's interesting to say, like, okay, because I haven't seen obviously the second one, so passing the mantle and whatnot. But who rules Wakanda politically?
Yeah, I'm always like, does it matter? Like, does the person who is the Black Panther, do they need to be also the king and ruler?
Not necessarily. That's the interesting part, is that you can claim the title of Black Panther without necessarily being the king, because that's something that you can fight for, right? Remember that whole scene when they're like fighting for it. And in the comics, actually, Shuri tries to fight her brother for ultimately she loses, but you can fight for it and then you can earn it. But I don't know if that necessarily translates to your king. It's just you're the Black Panther now.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like, what is that? What's the comparable thing?
Yeah, it's like Captain America is not the president. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, yeah.
And he shouldn't. He's like 1,000.
Yeah. And also his politics swing left and right very quickly.
He's just following the check, as most of us do.
Can you imagine Captain America waking up and like going to sit in a Chili's or something, and like a black person sits next to him and he's just thrown for a loop? He doesn't know what's going on.
Like, why aren't you at Applebee's? Well, we got to take this all the way back to the beginning of the movie.
Sorry.
We get a great, I would call this felt animation kind of intro. Could we tell who was doing this voiceover?
Yeah, that was Sterling K. Brown as
Thank you
Prince
for saying it.
Njobu.
Sterling K. Brown himself, amazing, just playing himself this entire film. He explains the origin of Wakanda and the vibranium. Oh God, is it offensive if I roll my R's too much?
Vibranium.
No,
Vibranium.
Rashawn said it's fine.
Rashawn gave us the okay. We're rolling our R's, y'all.
Yeah.
So we learn this history of Wakanda. They're this, tiny nation locked away. Vinny Thomas, how did you, when you first learned about Wakanda, how did you feel?
I loved it. I think I'm always dubious about intro sequences where they explain the origins of things. I'm like, oh boy, I got to sit through school before I do this movie. But this one I think was really well done. And the felt animation was like the vibranium sand, because in Wakanda, their technology evolved completely differently. So they have like interactive sand basically, and that's how they do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool to see that. And it was cool for everyone else to get like a refresher on what all the tribes were and how the Jabari people kind of went off and did their own thing. They worship their own god in the mountains, which good for them. We love religious liberty.
Assalamu alaikum, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And to you as well. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the best executed intros like that I've seen. It was fun to watch. I think my favorite part visually was when, do y'all remember when those hands came up out of the sand and each one grabbed the other's wrist?
Oh yeah.
I think about that all the time. And every time I see a group of people together, I want to be like, can we all just grab each other's wrists? Because I want to recreate that shape. But I can't, obviously, because it wouldn't be appropriate in whatever context we're in.
That's why you're grabbing wrists. Okay.
Are you thinking the wrists are grabbing to like, we need to like stay together, or that's like someone reaching for power and the others pulling them back down, like the crabs pulling each other down from the bucket?
That's a good question. And it could be either. I thought it was like a beautiful, comforting wrist grab. But it could have been something a little more insidious. Like maybe it's like Stevie Wonder checking to see if you're beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those.
Ray Charles did that too.
Oh, I met Ray Charles. Oh no, we got to cut that out.
Wow. Don't you please? I was like, Stevie?
I met Ray Charles. I was thinking of Ray. I was thinking of the movie Ray.
No,
Michael, we're leaving all that in.
You can't. I'm gonna get canceled. I have a burgeoning career ahead of me. You can't do this.
Not anymore. I'm gonna go to Rashawn Scott. Can you take us through your feelings on the next scene? Because that fable folklore of Wakanda was like really cool, and I agree, it's like a children's book, and it's like cool to go back once you've seen the whole movie and realize that that's a young Michael B. Jordan being told that story by Sterling K. Brown. Those are their names. So Rashawn Scott, walk me through the 1992 Oakland scene, with a special shout out to Grace Jones.
Oh, okay. So yes, we're in the hood. It's like establishing like, I wanted to always know, where was the mother? I know that, did she pass? Is she just not around? There's a lot of things. I'm always wondering, like, where are the female leaders in these people's lives? Like, with him like getting, I'm blanking. He gets caught up in his lie and is brought back to Wakanda, right? Or is that the reveal later? I can't remember the order at which things are happening. I might not be the best person to lead this section.
Oh no, you're good. But this is like the flashback where King T'Chaka in like the OG Black Panther with the Black Panther costume with the gold lining shows up with two Dora Milaje soldiers to bring Sterling K. Brown back, and it's like reveal after reveal. There's so many reveals in this movie. Yes. It's like, first you think Sterling K. Brown is just LA or Oakland gangster with his sidekick who weirdly looks like a young Forrest Whitaker. They did a great job with that casting. And you realize he's Wakandan, but then also his ally is Wakandan, and it ends with the kids looking up at the sky and they see the ship flying through the night.
I should mention as well, on the topic of Killmonger's mother, I think she was locked up. I think she is spending her life in prison.
Ooh.
Which is another interesting layer, I think.
Like, and do we have any idea of how she got there? Was it involved with Sterling K. Brown, like getting her caught up? Was she like moving vibranium for him and like trying to get into the community, or was he really only worried about himself? But I thought it was like great, like wanderlust imagery of like, oh, that little boy is so devastated. He literally has no one. And all he has are these like fairy tales that he was been told about this magical place. It made me feel really bad that this boy couldn't like wander the possibility of like this could be something good. It was always very, very negative. Just like he had no wonder, like, oh man, that little boy had to grow up immediately in that moment. He's no longer a child. This is the, and if I had known earlier, like, oh, a villain has just been created. Wow, we just
It was
up his whole
wild.
life.
Like they just so T'Chaka stabs his brother in the chest and just leaves him there. And I'm sure they knew he had a son. That's the crazy. Is like, I mean, I guess in the end, maybe they didn't, but it was wild because they just left him there for the son to find. I would have picked the son up and made up a lie. If it was me, I would have grabbed the son and been like, oh no, your father told us to. I'm a bad person at heart. I think I would have taken Killmonger.
No, run us through your plan. How would you abscond with this child?
I would
Vinny's
get rid of Njobu. Sorry, had to die. stole from us. And then I would go and I'd grab the son. I'd say, oh, you're in terrible danger. I'm your uncle. I've been your uncle this whole time. Get in this spaceship. And he would have jumped in the spaceship. We would have gone to Wakanda and he would have never been a threat. Him and T'Challa would have been best friends and there would have never been a problem. Movie over. Finished.
Well, one, I think that's the plot of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
I was like, is Star-Lord now?
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, I would be bright blue, and I would whistle, and an arrow would fly around.
But two, I think this beautiful, great job. You guys really set me up for a transition. This really ties into the idea of Wakanda, with their closed borders and not letting anybody in. And I think with that, may I extrapolate that it ties into like they wouldn't even let in their mistakes. Like if they accidentally killed a prince, we're going to cover that up too. Like Wakanda doesn't make mistakes. Wakanda doesn't make deals with people. They don't let anyone in.
But do you really think that is the first time someone has stepped out of those walls and had some sort of like relationship outside in their men, women, children who are out and about? Like they, for being as sophisticated as they alluded to, these sort of procedures, it should, Vinny's plan would have gone swooped into action, if they had some like real secret service, even more higher ranking than the Dora Milaje of like, swoop up these kids, bring them here, like mind wipe them or whatever. Tell them they grew up down the street.
Yeah. I mean, they knew he was there and they just left him, which is so like upsetting to me. Yeah. You could have at least gotten rid of, well, I guess it's for the best that he knows his dad isn't coming back, but like, come on, you just left him there for his son to see, and they knew he had a son.
I mean, no one ever thinks children are going to grow up with vengeance in their heart. Like, I think they're like, oh, he's going to be happy in Oakland. Like, he'll just live life as an American. But
yeah.
Little they know.
you created a political problem for yourself. And you didn't have to.
Because it's clear no one's lived in America as a black person before in Wakanda.
No, Sterling K. Brown's like Oakland accent. I was just like, oh my god.
They were like, we want this kid to grow up as hard as possible. We want
little boys wearing chains. All right.
Oh, that basketball hoop was just a little basket. Man, life is hard. Also, shout out to that whole scene just made me think about a different world. Anyway, same era. Let's just breeze through this next scene. We get reintroduced to T'Challa. My God, it was so hard to watch Chadwick Boseman. I was so sad. Rashawn Scott, talk to me about T'Challa, Okoye, and Nakia, who we meet all three of them in this scene. Was this a good introduction to these characters, do you think?
Yes, and I was able to see like the hierarchy and the level of respect that they each had for each other. Is like, we each have a job. Yes, you may be the king, the prince, the Black Panther, but there are things that you're not paying attention to that I obviously see. Like, you're about to get caught up in your emotions, so don't freeze. Don't.
I never freeze.
And I like seeing Nakia as like this not rogue, but like one woman department.
Yeah.
Like, how did she get so close to possibly being Dora Milaje and then just decided, I can do things on behalf of Wakanda for my own political agenda. Again, like, is she a person who has gone outside the walls?
I think so. Nakia is actually, I think she's a war dog, which is like their version of the CIA. It's like these kind of secret agents that they plant all over the place, and that they have little clandestine missions, and they work very independently. But I think that you're absolutely right. I think that really colored her worldview, because she's over here in Nigeria and West Africa, dealing with, maybe humanitarian crises, and she sees what everyone has in Wakanda. And so that really, I think, changes her perspective in the same way it changes in Jobu's. Of course, they didn't kill Nakia.
She knows too much. And she was in Green. And what tribe would that make her from?
She is in the River Tribe. Green is the color of the River Tribe. They also wear a lot of crocodile skins, and then you'll see their leader has the big lip plate. Some of them also have the lip plate.
Oh yeah, I remember the lip plate. Very cool, very cool. We then we set up the little love story with T'Challa and Nakia. I like it. I've been infamous on this podcast saying that Marvel doesn't do love stories right, but I think this is nice. Again, it's hard because it's no more now. But I like them together. Shout out to
They had that really cute scene later in the city where he's clearly wanting her to be queen, and she lets slip that she might, and he's like, and she's like, you got me. I said maybe. They got so close. I love it. I love playing coy in the city.
In the city, it's best to play coy.
In the city, yes.
Coy goes very far in the city. Coy stretches in the city.
They call her Nakoy.
Nakoy.
That's Nakia.
Yeah.
I was mixing Nakia and Okoye.
Okoye.
Yeah.
Vinny Thomas, talk to me about, oh my gosh, Ramada? Is that Angela Bassett? Ramonda. Yes, it's Angela Bassett, but Ramonda and Shuri. We arrive back in Wakanda. Gorgeous reveal of Wakanda. Beautiful. But Vinny Thomas, the Queen and Princess. How are you liking them? Do they feel like family?
I think they did. I think Angela Bassett has this wonderful regal quality about her that I think was really emphasized by the costumes, which we were talking about earlier. Because she had this insane 3D printed like cowl and headdress that were kind of like a little referencing like Egyptian headdress. It was great. And then you had Shuri, who was in the much younger kind of Afro-punk outfit. And I don't know, little skirt set. Her hair is up. I really like that. I think the dynamic between those three, I think it was well sold. I think they did a good job. I'm not a movie reviewer. I liked it. I thought they felt like family. Could have fooled me.
The things I noticed right away are obviously the way they dress people, but the hair design of so many different textures and styles, and what looks regal versus their idea of what looks professional and regal versus in our reality, what people condone us for having those hairstyles. You're like, these are elegant and gorgeous, and it's just a regular day, and they look so good.
You know what else I really loved about that scene was the first scene where you got a sense of kind of the regimented militancy of the Dora Milaje. Because when she throws her spear down twice and all of her troops kind of fall in line and turn, I was like, wow, that sound of the spirit kind of hitting the ground, it picks up so many times later in the movie. And it's just, I don't know. I sit up straight when I hear it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my God, the Dora Milaje, I think it's a proven fact they were the best part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier when they showed up on that Disney Plus series.
There was a vibe between Bucky and old girl. Like,
did you feel it?
Yeah.
100%. She was like, "Oh, so you just gonna leave?" Oh, she called him by his first name, or called him like, what's Bucky's actual name?
I wonder if it's like Buckraham or something. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it's like Buckathy?
Buckathy Barnes. Call me Bucky.
Call me Bucky.
But love them. I think we can just go to let's talk about the
James.
James. Yes, James. My God, do you want to talk about the big water battle with my guy? My not to overshare my hand too much about where this is leading for me, but M'Baku shows up to challenge T'Challa, and Winston Dukes.
Yeah, Winston Duke's thighs. I know that where you're headed.
That's
brother.
the way a man should look. I'm sorry.
Is it
I'm
Winston
so sorry.
Dukes or just Winston Duke? Have I been saying his name wrong this whole time?
It's singular.
It's just the one Duke.
Maybe for you. It's singular, but it's the Dukes for me.
The pluralization of Winston Duke is a plague on looking at.
This man is amazing. I love M'Baku. I love how and is it
refrigerator of a man.
Oof.
Sturdy.
I love the sturdiness. And am I wrong? Has no one seen the Jabari tribe until today?
You are wrong about that. So the Jabari tribe and M'Baku, they're up in the mountains, and they're kind of like they're a little autonomous compared to the other tribes. They don't really connect as much with them, and most of the tribes just don't go up to see them. They're not 100% isolated, but they also don't approve of the direction that the country is going as a whole, because they think it's come to rely too much on technology, and not enough on traditionalism. Also, they worship, keep in mind, a whole different god. Like these other tribes mostly worship Bast, the panther goddess, and they worship Hanuman, which is gorilla? This giant gorilla. And you hear that when M'Baku comes down and he's like, "Praise be to Hanuman." Everyone's like, religious shade. I think my favorite part of that was his entrance with the other Jabaris when he comes in and they're like, "Masa," and they like walk through that tunnel. Like,
oh, incredible.
Yeah, it was very intimidating.
The voice was like such a great choice of whatever he was doing, because imagine hearing that voice cut through there were like hundreds of people in this rock formation. Yes, sir.
I'm just worried about safety standards. Was anyone else worried about? I am just worried about safety. I don't care how good the doctors in Wakanda are. You've got old people standing
They
up.
were all on the bottom.
They were up on the cliffs. Rashawn.
You think there were old people up there?
No, I saw all the sneakers. All the sneaker heads were up on the higher level. Everyone also, in there.
We saw Okoye later in that car chase scene. She's got like that, magnetic shoe thing sticking her to the roof of cars and stuff. So like maybe they've got those kind of shoes and they're not worried about slipping and sliding on rocks.
They had shields in their capes. There's guardrails. You just can't.
Look, I just want us to mention them. I want them to mention the invisible vibranium guardrails, just so I know for me that like everyone is safe up there.
Ryan Coogler is trying to save a few dollars. If he keeps putting on this, I can't get a fifth movie.
Ryan Coogler is trying to save a few dollars, and I'm trying to save a few lives, Rashawn. I think that's the difference between me.
You scoff at tradition.
I mean, if we want to be really real, I think the people at the top were all CGI creations. Sorry.
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
It's not practically done.
I didn't bring up once that you said M'Baku. I didn't bring it up once.
and yet here we are. All right. Before we take a break, we got to talk about Killmonger. It's insane that we've been talking for this long. We haven't brought him up too much. Rashawn Scott, this museum scene, I think, is a great introduction to a villain. I would be surprised if you disagreed, but what did you like about it? I'm going to assume you like this.
There's nothing I love more than a heist. Oof. I love a good heist. Getting the team like that easily could have been a short film of him putting together his team, trying to figure this out, duping it. And I know that even if we had gotten that short film, we wouldn't have realized that he was a part of it. To the late reveal of like, oh, this guy's about to flip on everybody, and it was so savage. Lots of people get injured in all kinds of Marvel movies, but I was so pissed that he like duffed that black lady. Was like, I don't need you anymore. I'm
Coffee
out.
Girl. I call her Coffee Girl in my notes.
Coffee Girl.
Yeah, because we don't know her name.
Oh,
we don't know her name. It's gonna be.
I mean, if you could find her in the credits, I'm sure they named her. But
it's the girl who Eric was with for a little while. That's her name. We don't know her name.
Damn.
May she rest in peace.
R.I.P. Coffee Girl.
Damn.
Careful what she puts in your drink.
That was, I mean, that was a savage little move of like, I thought it was like, ooh, are we getting a poisoning or is someone going to fall out right away? Is this going to be a chemical reaction? There's so many different things that could have happened.
You know what? I don't think they had to kill that poor art historian lady who just wanted to. This poor woman, you know, she took her little liberal arts art history course at the college. She comes back. They didn't have to kill her. They could have just had her shit her brains out or something. You know what I mean? Like
when you clock in a colonizer's museum, this is a risk that you take. Okay.
Look, Colonizer's Natural History Museum.
All I'm saying is when she grabbed
be history naturally.
When she grabbed Rashawn.
I'm tired, man. I'm on it.
You can't tell. You can't tell.
I just know when she grabbed her stomach and he was like, "You're not checking for what you put in your own body." I was like, "Oh no, she's just gonna run to the bathroom real quick and she's gonna be in there for a while." But then she died, and I'm so happy that this woman was giving me following me around the store vibes. Like this energy of like, she walked up to him. She was like, "You don't know shit. Why are you here?"
It was giving Sandra Bullock in Crash. You're like, you better push this bitch down the stairs right now.
In her defense, when he grabbed that mask, he did not use gloves.
No,
he did not use gloves. It was thousands of years old, that mask, and he just touched it with his bare hands. I was like, you are destroying that artifact.
Like, I don't know what it says about me, but I think that's so sexy that he's just looking at a mask. He's like, and Claw's like, "Do you need that?" I was like, "No, I'm just feeling it," and he just takes it.
Yeah,
and then he wears it later.
Men are always shopping. Y'all are just always like, "Ooh, I would look cute in that." Like, girl, get out! You just killed this lady. There's cameras everywhere.
She would look cute in that mask.
Don't y'all wish he wore the mask more though? Like, I wanted him to wear it 24/7.
When he like puts on the Black Panther necklace, if it had incorporated, you know, the mask into his, the nanotechnology, that would have been cool. But I also love how that outfit had a hold on people. I don't know how many times I've seen guys get the twist on the top and the jean jacket and some camo pants are like, "I am Killmonger."
Yeah, and the little round glasses too. Mm-hmm. Always with the little round glasses.
Oh man,
I know somebody who looks exactly like that. I'll say his name offline. But speaking of offline, we're going to head offline for a quick break to hear from our sponsors, the other podcasts you can listen on Press Play Productions. We'll be right back to maybe talk about the plot of the movie. We'll find out. So keep it right here to Podcast 616, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Sam Post, owner of Phenomenal CBD Store and PhenomenalCBD.com. That's like phenomenal, CBD.com. Tune in where we talk with experts about how the amazing hemp plant can make a difference for people's health and well-being from the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome everyone to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
And we're back. Vinny Thomas, you just said a train to Busan during the break. What does that mean?
I'm so sorry. I believe it's the title of a film. I think it's the title of a film. I'm going to Google it real quick just to make sure it's not something else.
Okay.
So they realized some vibranium had got out.
You guys can't stop. Sometimes I'll just be saying, it was a 2016 horror action film called A Train to Busan. And I said that because they went to Korea.
Okay.
in Black Panther, in the film Black Panther, which is what we're talking about.
That's
now.
what we're talking about. Yeah. So
and it wasn't meant to be a whole thing. It was just like a cheeky little. And I don't know why you brought it up, Damon. I'm so sorry. Everyone.
You are fixing it though right now.
I am.
You are fixing.
Vinny, I'm sorry that I listen to you and I value the things that you say.
We find our characters in South Korea.
In South Korea, they're on the hunt for Claw, who OG Wakanda bad guy. Also, shout out to my Age of Ultron fans, because you may remember Claw. The reason he lost his hand was because Ultron sliced it off in that terrible Avengers movie.
I liked it.
Ultron?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Did you like when there was that hard cut to Black Widow in a bulldozer for no reason?
Yeah, I thought it was sexy.
I thought it empowered women. So what?
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm not about that. But I am empowered for these outfits, especially.
Yes.
This is why you cast Lupita Nyong'o, to give you good acting and to serve these looks.
Okay.
Stunning. She
Enough of
wear something bad.
Enough about Lupita. We got to talk about Okoye's shake and go wig.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, the worst wig in the whole film, I will say. But
So
again, another rejection of like when shit started to pop off and she's like wanting to respond and react, and T'Challa's telling her to like, hey, cool it out. And she snatches off the wig again to be like, fuck that. I don't need this to do my job.
Yep.
Snatch this shit off and get to work. And then her floating, the choreography, I can't imagine how they choreographed the fight of like the draping of the dress so beautifully. Spears all the way down. It was like, oh my god! And when that clip a million times.
When they go up and it's her swinging the spear around, in the background it's like choop 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 like sound while she's swinging it around. That was incredible. But I do love the idea that this core group, like the King of Wakanda, like on their way to this place in Busan, was like, "Can we just stop by Party City real quick? Can we just stop?" Okay,
you know there has to be a beauty supply or a hair store in Korea somewhere that she.
Yeah.
They weren't in Ohio.
It's like because they were terrified someone was gonna clock Okoye just for being bald, so they grab her a quick wig. That kills me. I think that's so funny.
Well, we're the only black people in here. They're already gonna notice it's us.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's unclear. Like, do people know about the Dora Milaje?
No, they've been top flight security. They should have had this installed way back when. What's up? Please continue.
Claw pops off, goes on the run. First of all, I love that we just have a villain whose name is Claw, and he's got like Inspector Gadget, Claw gadgets. Then we get this amazing car chase scene. It gives me life every time I see it. Just Black Panther on the roof being driven remotely by Shuri and Wakanda. I love.
Yeah.
And then you had go ahead, Rashawn.
No.
I was just gonna say you had that other great spear thing. I just Okoye with every spear scene. That car scene where she throws the spear down in front of the car, crunches it up.
And just the ending of like it became this amazing car chase scene and this beautiful car and the technology that Shuri is like implementing into it, and it trickled all the way down to just being on a spear and a stick, just sliding down. And it harkens back to what M'Baku was talking about, like you rely too much on technology.
Yeah.
So
damn.
Thematics.
All right. We catch Claw, take him to the Korean police station, where they're going to interrogate him. Also, Martin Freeman, shout out to Sherlock fans. This character was also in Civil War. I don't know why I guess I could figure out why he's so anti-Wakanda. He's like, all right, farm nation, leave me alone.
Well, I think
man's got it.
I think he has some feelings about, because at this point, like, he doesn't really know what Wakanda is, right? He knows that all he knows is that it's perceived to be a completely destitute country that refuses aid. But somehow the leader of this country, the king, is walking around in this insanely expensive war suit.
Down.
Yeah. So in his opinion, they're just some leaders that are like stealing money from the mouths of their people, much like the Americans.
Oh.
You know, so he might be feeling some type of way. I know he mentions that in the casino. he's like, I'm gonna tell everyone in the world that the leader of a third world country walks around in a giant cat suit or something.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that, because I just, in my perspective, I'm watching the story through T'Challa and Nakia's eyes of like, we know who we are, what we really are, not necessarily what the outside world is thinking of us.
Yeah.
I never caught that. That's very interesting.
And that's something I'm excited for the sequel to find out of, like, because now the world knows what Wakanda's all about, and they played a huge part in the battle with Thanos and Endgame. So how does the world, I mean, I guess that's the plot of the second movie, like, how does the world now feel that this like superpower is just right under their noses? And we'll find out.
Found myself wondering if after this second movie, that's really going to set up a conflict between M'Baku and the royals in Wakanda proper, because I think as Wakanda starts to branch out more, it's going to lead to more divisions with the Jabari, who don't want that.
Yeah,
I would think.
What is the population of the Jabari compared to the other tribes?
I think it's smaller, but I think, as we've seen, the people there are larger and better fighters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I know there were in the comics definitely some huge conflicts. M'Baku he's more of a villainous figure in the comics than he is in the movies.
Is he posed as like a radical, or is it just someone who thinks differently, or is it like,
I don't know,
seem like he's a danger to the nation or something like that? Would he just be another tyrant?
I think he wants to be in the comics. The Jabari kind of want to claim the throne and then to replace Bast as the patron god with Hanuman, who they get some level of power from, and they want the heart-shaped herb too. It's very interesting. There are a lot of layers. It's quite a lasagna, quite a political lasagna, if you will.
What kind of political lasagna? Absolutely.
Bars.
Bars. Killmonger comes in, takes Claw. There's this moment where T'Challa sees the necklace and starts to get suspicious of, why does this man who's not one of us have something of ours? I believe we go. Also, Martin Freeman gets shot. Sorry, Watson. Nakia's like, he saved my life. We got to take him back. And so we're back in Wakanda. And then Forrest Whitaker, who I have not talked about on this podcast. Forrest Whitaker shares what happened to Sterling K. Brown. Am I wrong for not liking Forrest Whitaker in this movie?
It's not a redeemable. I think making him a holy man is supposed to make us think that he is pious and remorseful, but he had all this information for a very, 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 very long time.
Yep.
And chose to withhold it.
I almost wanted them to lean into his piousness and religion a little bit more. I think it was there, and he was just like, he was the priest, who gave the heart-shaped herb. But I wanted him to kind of delve into it a little bit more and almost talk about, try to justify his own actions through his belief system, just so that we get like a better sense of what is the moral compass behind a worshiper of Bast? You know what I mean? Just to like understand what that looks like.
And because he was gangbanging for a minute too, so he's got to have some of, like, he saw a lot of that shit. So it seems like, I was in the streets, and then I found the Lord, and now I am changed.
Could you imagine?
That's what it's giving. Like, oh, I found God, and forgive me for all that shit. Why are you mad about all stuff?
I would love to see,
educate you, young man. Like
Forrest Whitaker as a new age pastor of Bast, talking about how he used to deal crack in Oakland, and now he came home and he found Bast in his heart, and she delivered him.
Oh, take you through the strength of the Black Panther.
Also, shout out to Ruthie Carter again. It's a great visual cue. In the flashback, Yuri is in a purple jersey, and then as an adult, he's in a purple gown. Really helps connect the two. I talk about the whole movie, y'all. Every little bit. All right, are we at the part? I think we're at truly one of my favorite scenes. Hey, Auntie. Killmonger.
I thought someone was gonna be like, do that little dance you do. You know, where, the little cousin like learned something. Like, come on, do a dance for us.
You got games on your phone.
Oh yeah, war games.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I thought that was great. I mean, before that, you of course had the fight where Killmonger wins.
Mhm.
And I don't know. There's something so
The brutality of throwing his body over the edge.
Yeah.
That is just like salt in the like one. We really don't know who you are, Killmonger. Sure, you're making this claim, and you were going through the right channels. Allegedly, you know, you participated in this fight, but it was like, one, we don't know how you got here. We don't know your intentions. Again, whoever is the Black Panther is, I presume they're like the leader in a way, maybe not politically, but like spiritually,
religiously,
yeah. So if any old body who's just good at a fight can become the spiritual leader of your nation, question mark.
That goes back. There was a line in the beginning of the movie that Shuri said of like, you know, talking about technology and like how she can improve something, and T'Challa's like, it works fine. She's like, just because something works doesn't mean it can't be improved. I think was such a theme.
Sneakers.
But like they built in that theme of like, that's, you know, it also represents Wakanda. Like it works, but it's, you know, there's like there's faults to it.
Yeah,
so people like Killmonger can get in there. I do want to quickly institute an acting challenge to my guests. Surprise, it's happening. This truly is my favorite line. I say this probably once a week. When Killmonger defeats T'Challa, he shouts, "Is this your king? Is this your king?" So I would love for you to take that and make it your own in any way. Also, if you could work in the way Michael B. Jordan says the word Iraq, that'd be very fun for me as well. I'm going to go to Vinny Thomas first. So please, you are Killmonger. You just defeated T'Challa in Mortal Kombat. What do you say?
Wow, got his ass. I would say, wow, got his ass. That's pretty embarrassing for y'all, dead ass.
This nigga's a munch.
It looks like I'm taking the throne. Iraq. And Iraq is just a catchphrase I say. Like I just say it at the end of it. It's like instead of
he's
like
doing his tight five. No.
Damn. Oh, no. Thank you.
Wait, instead of purr, I'd be like Iraq.
I use a vibranium hook and I pull you off stage.
Yes. Thank you, Vinny. You have your comments have been preserved for the record. Rashawn Scott, please. Okay. Your Killmonger victory speech, please.
Is this your king?
He did grow up in Oakland.
He did. Sorry. I'd love to start over.
Wait, stop. No, Rashawn, it was good
so,
the way
yeah,
you
I'm so
did
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why Damon is correcting you. It's what you feel in your heart.
I do apologize as well. That's a reflex for me to give notes. I'm so sorry.
Because Rashawn's voice is so dusky today. It sounded like she was an elder.
Damn. Get roasted over here. I love it. Okay. Is this your king? Is this what you niggas want? I'm so sorry. I can't take this. Is this your king? I'm sorry. That's all I got.
No, I loved it.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was perfect.
I should have gone first.
Ooh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful, everybody.
I'm warm.
I mean, do you even need me to go? Because I feel like I can't.
I think you should go. I think it should be a nice sandwich. Put a button on this whole thing.
Okay, here we go. Is this your king? Is this your king? I defeated all of them. T'Challa, Kyle Chandler, Friday Night Lights. That one movie when I had superpowers.
Wes Dillon.
I am Creed.
Fantastic Four.
We don't talk about that.
Was he in My Cousin Skeeter for a second?
Was he in My Cousin Skeeter?
I think he was.
Fact check that because I would love that.
King.
Is this your king?
Is this your king?
So then Michael B. Jordan defeats.
Is this your cornbread? Is that what you're doing? Is this your cornbread? Is that your king?
Woo!
Reach out, king.
He defeats T'Challa, goes over the waterfall, immediately takes the purple heart, was it?
The heart-shaped herb. Yep.
The heart-shaped herb. And then he goes to the ancestral plane. But this is so fucking cool that, when T'Challa did it, it was, African savannah. Savannah's probably not the word, not the right word. But anyway, the plains with the Panthers.
Fine, yeah.
But then for Killmonger, he goes back to that apartment in Oakland, and then he reconnects with Sterling K. Brown.
But it's so sad how vast T'Challa saw the world around him, even in this ancestral plane. Like people go all the way back to the dawn of when they could remember. But for Killmonger, it's this apartment, and then it's this little closet with like posters and things, and like it's even like a teeny tiny secret of something that could be so big within himself. It was very beautiful.
So I'm not sure what the dynamics of the heart-shaped herb and the experience is in the movie, and I'm not sure. Maybe what T'Challa was seeing were all of his ancestors. Like he's in the direct line of the throne, so he probably has had a lot of ancestors who were Black Panthers. And so he's seeing them. But because Killmonger would be in a new lineage, maybe he's only seeing the one. I wonder.
But also I think for me, I took it as like what they know. Like they can only see what they know.
Yeah.
And, like all Killmonger knows is that house and his dad. But T'Challa growing up would know about all the ancestors and all the Black Panthers.
You were right,
so,
Rashawn. I think it's more poetic than,
Yeah.
All these people just got to exist and be like this figurehead. They aren't necessarily their surroundings. We didn't see like where these past Black Panthers, their homes, where they lived around. They were just existing within the ancestral plane, but just like forced into a box again of like, we've already created the kind of person that you are. You will live within these four walls, and this really special part of you that is being blocked from, that's been taken away from you, that you haven't been to learn about yourself, is even smaller.
I will say, just on a personal note, I did want to see Bast. I wanted to see like some sort of interaction with Bast. Like you've been through this, you get the heart-shaped herb, you go to the ancestral plane. I just want one thing. Do you know what I mean?
You should be able to ask a question like, the big why, or
exactly, yeah.
Like, why did the vibranium hit this part of the world?
And I'm presuming, now I'm thinking of Jeffrey Wright. So is the Watcher watching all of this?
Probably.
I mean, the Watcher's watching everything.
Yeah, he's kind of a voyeur, kind of a little pervert.
Honestly, can we say that? Can we
pervert?
Say that? That the Watcher is a pervert?
Yeah, he is.
You can say the word pervert anytime you want to.
He's a pervert in every universe.
Every universe. So Michael B. Jordan wakes up, burns all the heart-shaped herbs. Nakia, the little master spy thief, steals one. We then get this beautiful upside-down shot. My fucking God.
Okay, hold on. Time out. When Absolutely. He burns all of the herbs and stuff, as much as he harps on, y'all don't know me, y'all turned your backs to the world, like this could totally help by burning up all of this ancestral herb that gave you these powers. You were literally doing the thing that your oppressor has done to you. So it's again falling into it stuff like, all right, yeah, like there are times where I'm like, man, you want to be a poet or a prophet? Like sometimes you are just talking. Yes, we all should be heard, but you're talking, but you're not saying anything. Like, yeah, I agree with you. The world's fucked up. So now, what are our actions after this? How do we get to this euphoria that you keep dreaming about?
Someone told me once that Killmonger represents the way that Western culture and Western ideals can warp radical sensibilities, right? Like in his mind, he's seen so much violence. He's been on that end of things for so long. He thinks the only way forward is to conquer. For him, conquering is the way to peace, because his experience in America has literally kind of, whether he meant to or not, kind of honed that in his head. And so he's carrying that kind of Western vision into Wakanda.
And, and at that point, he had gotten what he wanted. He literally had a family. Your auntie's right there. Your little cousin is right there. Like he literally had a family. And he thought, I was thinking maybe he's so scared of the fact that there could be people close to him that he finally got what he wanted, that everything he's been told as a child is actually real, and it's too real that it needs to stay a fantasy, so I'm just going to burn it all down.
I think he just wants power. He killed Coffee Girl. He could have had a cute little family with her, but he killed her dead.
I think, once Coffee Girl goes down with the coffee grounds,
Coffee Girl's the first domino.
No, because, they would have had a child, and then it would have been a very the mother's not Wakandan, and very much love the Judea's faith of if your mom's not Wakandan, then you're not accepted.
That is such an interesting idea, Rashawn, of why didn't he keep Coffee Girl and give her a heart-shaped herb and then be a king and queen, a powerful, why didn't he make, like Captain America, super soldiers, like an army of Black Panthers? But I think it is
only be one.
There can only be one. But I think that is the kernel that still makes him a villain, that you even though I do side with him on a lot of things he's saying, he's still he did it in a way I'm the only one. This is how I'm in charge, because I'm Black Panther. No one else will be, and you will follow me.
I mean, he's doing it in an American way, right? Which is ultimately the problem, and why he definitely should not have been able to rule Wakanda.
America has a problem.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, we're voguing. Listener, you can't see it, but we're voguing. Oh my God, a renaissance.
But imagine if imagine if Killmonger had linked up with M'Baku before this, if he had some sort of inside, if Claw had taken him to the mountains before he came to the city. This could have gone way different.
I think about that all the time, because he could have lied to M'Baku. He could have been like, you know what? I align with your vision. You put me on the throne and you will have a seat on the council. You know what I mean? And things could have gone very differently.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's my guy. How do you say it? M'Baku?
M'Baku.
No, yeah. M'Guy.
M'Guy. My M'Guy. M'Baku. He is, I think, the most noblest character in this movie. And I truly love and adore him. Again, don't want to show my hand too much, but he found T'Challa and he decided, this man who was my adversary, I'm getting teared up. This man who is my adversary, I'm going to take him, heal him in my icy, icy snow, and return him to the throne. So I think even if Killmonger got to M'Baku, M'Baku was like, you're not the king. I was defeated by the king. I'm not going to serve someone who beat someone who beat me. Because
they brought him the herb. He could have had the herb and he could have been the next ruler, and he could have had everything.
Real quick,
to fix his best friend.
Rashawn, how are we doing on time?
We're good. We're
good. Okay, cool.
Is this around the time where Ramonda shows up? Again, shout out to the hair and costume design, because when those dreads came down, those all gray dreads, those locks were just incredible. I just like the detail. I just wanted to pause and just zoom in. Where are the hair tutorials? How do we do this? Women, stop. Go gray, girl. It's gonna look fucking fab if you trust the process.
And I think they were draped in the Border Tribe blankets, which were inspired by the Lesotho tribes, their wraps. So a lot of it was that was very beautiful. Well done.
Yeah. Do you I thought this, because there was rumors that Angela Bassett was originally going to play Storm in the X-Men movie, but then Halle Berry got it. Do you think the hair was a little bit of a shout out, she could have been Storm? She could have been Storm in the X-Men?
I don't think it was shade.
I
think it was manufactured shade.
I was like, she could have done it.
That was shade manufactured in your mind.
Oh yeah, it often
she would have been an excellent Storm.
Yes. Is there a Storm slated at it? Well, I mean, we're getting all of this crossover.
I mean,
who knows?
We could get into. I'm sure you've talked about the new Doctor Strange, right? Isn't there a running theory that basically all that chaos magic brought mutants into the world, and so now we're gonna have mutants?
Yeah. And the Miss Marvel show mentioned mutants as well.
Yeah, they're in the multiverse of madness. They do the little sound cue, because they did that in WandaVision and in Captain Marvel and in She-Hulk. She looked into the camera and was like, whoa, they're coming.
Okay, but we digress.
Listeners of this podcast, and by that I mean Isaac Snyder, my one listener, they know how I feel about that She-Hulk finale. Yikes. But yeah, so we're on the mountain. In my notes, I call that Cold Mountain. Shout out to Renee Zellweger. M'Baku is holding court. My fucking God. You cannot talk is my... I've said this so many times. That's one of my favorite lines of this whole movie. I want to say that so much to so many people I'm working with. You know who you are. No, you don't. I'm very professional, but I wish I could shout it so many times.
Yeah, Martin Freeman froze up real quick. He's like, "Oh, I just see the butthole. Just, oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh, and the design. Oh, the design of that hall with the Jabari wood just hanging up there, like, it was so cool,
gorgeous." Okay, and
immaculate.
another moment for Winston's thighs because it was took up the whole screen. It was great,
and it's cold on that mountain too.
But he doesn't feel it because my man is strong.
Yes, strength means you
Yeah,
have
that's exactly
advantage
what it
against
means.
cold.
Hell yeah,
In my world, yes.
you could beat it up, dog.
He doesn't feel nothing
You
except
could fight the hypothermia off.
Love
my
for
love.
me.
The only thing he feels is his love for me. Oh my man, I love him so. All right, so this is where we reveal that T'Challa is still alive. I believe they just feed him the heart-shaped herb
Mhm.
in the snow. We get
Mhm.
another trip to the ancestral plane, where T'Challa really gives old King T'Chaka the wag of the finger. How dare you? We have to change. And T'Challa wakes back up.
And I feel
Oh,
like that
what's
is
up?
a moment like I don't know if most of us, but people will have at some point with your parent of like, I'm an adult and you're an adult, and girl, you gotta stop lying to me about stuff. Like,
Yeah.
keep me in the know because it keeps everyone safer. Like, you try, yes, you're a parent, you're trying to protect me, but have you never thought more than this? Like, I'm sure you had these same conversations with your father, or these feelings of like, y'all made me feel this way. Why do you continue to? I mean, that's just generational
I
trauma.
mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I also think it is kind of a breakdown of leadership. I just don't understand. I feel like if you become the leader of a nation, then there's some book somewhere about top secret information that might mention, oh,
Mhm.
the throne, you have a cousin out there. You have a cousin that
Mhm.
might pose a threat someday to the throne. And I feel
It's-
like it was just never imparted to him.
I
It's
killed your
giving
uncle.
Aegon Targaryen. It's
They
it's giving. You are Jon Snow. Jon Snow. It's giving.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. And they're in snow.
I just look.
Jabari, the wall.
You've got secret war dogs in every country in the world, and you can't write down one detail.
Okay, that's something.
It's a
That
real
leads us
my
to
bad moment.
my bad, son. That leads into the finale in an interesting way. Do you think, I'm going to you, Vinny Thomas, do you think,
Yeah.
So Michael B. Jordan, alerted the spies, and they said that several spies were like on board with this plan. So are there like Wakandans in the world that are still like wanting to take over? Because we
Well,
didn't really.
If I remember correctly, I think the war dogs will just follow orders. They're war dogs. You know what I mean? So like whoever is the Black Panther, they're going to acquiesce to that person as the ruler and the king. So I think when he mentioned we have spies in place ready to go all across the globe, he meant that. I don't know if they'd like to do it, and I'm sure there might be some dissent, but I think for the most part they would. And I think that's maybe one of the scariest things about any big culture or any big powerful empire is that no matter whether or not people think it's right or wrong, sometimes they will just do it because they were told to do it,
Yeah.
Truly the trouble with like monarchy and sort of like we turn to this one person for all of our decisions.
Yeah.
And and in this case Killmonger has had some work in the field, so he may have some understanding of like the goings on of a war dog. But like the older king, he was old Black Panther. Like, well, I mean, how young was T'Challa when he was installed the first time?
Probably pretty young. Yeah.
Teens?
I would say early 20s, maybe. I don't know.
So his father's still fairly old, running things into the ground, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, the next Black Panther will usually be made while the king is still in power, because you saw while T'Chaka was king, T'Challa was still the Black Panther.
Yeah. Interesting. Shifting us into the big finale, I think that this finale fight was really good because there were like tiers, there were tasks that had to be done in a certain order. And I think a lot of these Marvel movies, they just go for this big climactic shoot down the big ship. But this one, we had to take care of the ships that were trying to get weapons out of Wakanda. Then we had to deal with the mutineers, and then we had to deal with the big bad of Michael B. Jordan. So there was like shit that everybody had to do.
I think one of the most interesting, I love lore. I'm addicted to lore. And I love that by the end of the movie, you could identify all of these different cultures and where they sat in this conflict. The border tribe for me was so interesting. The border tribe, of course, has the blue blankets. They're the ones that can do the shield thing. They also have war rhinos. And so
shout out to the rhinos.
When he whistles for the war rhinos, it was so funny seeing him. He runs up to that. I laughed audibly at this part because to see homeboy run up to the cliff and like he's about to whistle, and they're like, "Don't you do it? Don't you whistle?" And he blows that whistle in his
because Daniel, he does like a little stop, like he gets there, stops, looks at T'Challa like, "I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it."
Blows
and then he blows the horn, and the rhinos show up. And I love the war rhinos because rhinos are so similar to horses, just like biological. They're so.
They have 4 legs.
They're in the same. They're all odd-toed ungulates, right, with tapers and.
Finney's always talking about ungulates.
I'm always bringing up ungulates. Rhinos are very similar to horses, so to see them used in that way as kind of like this really jacked up fucking war horse was so cool and so interesting. And the way they plowed through everyone, man, it was just wild.
Because it's not an animal that I would a battle rhino. Battle rhino sounds tough, hard as
sounds right.
Terrifying.
But like, you know, we've seen horses, we've seen the camels, we've seen
so many camels.
Elephants. Like, you know, it would have been like very something.
That's why I loved it.
A rhino could be in a city or a capital. It's not necessarily like in the jungle. Also, we missed. I mean, we got a taste of what could have been the scene between Okoye and Daniel Kaluuya's character of like, oh, are they married? There's a conflict of like, I serve Wakanda while I serve my king. Like, where are you at?
For Wakanda?
Without question.
Oh my God. Also, we have not talked about Danae Guerra enough. I love her.
Just, oh my God, just beautiful statuette. And like the fight choreography is always my favorite part of just seeing people whooping ass and knowing that like, oh, she is doing these kicks and flips and the turns and everything. I'm sure there's wires and all that kinds of shit.
Well, let me tell you, even when she was on The Walking Dead with that katana, with that samurai sword, she was turning up then too.
She said, "I'm not wearing a wig again."
She also said, "I'm the best actor on this show, so you're gonna let me do whatever I want to do."
Yeah, it's Michonne.
Walking Dead. All right, so we have this big ass battle, and then we what do we feel? Gold or silver for the Black Panther outfit? Killmonger or T'Challa?
Killmonger's was too gaudy. He was very like, look at my. It was like, you need to tuck your chain because, girl.
Yeah.
It was giving American Gangsters, giving Frank White not following in his own advice.
Yeah,
you're too loud, and then he wore that fur coat, and then got caught up by the feds.
Yeah, it was giving tacky. It was giving new money. It was giving. It was like
it was giving stimulus check.
It was giving like.
Oh, you got your check. I see.
Yeah. He got his little Costco gold chain or whatever. It's like, you're a superhero. You know what I mean? Let's be serious. Be for real.
Be serious. This is an amazing fight. I had a thought because I feel like I think we can all agree Killmonger is a great villain.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw out this idea to you Marvel heads out there. Like, you can't always have a Killmonger. Like, Thanos could never be a Killmonger because Killmonger it's that personal, close history that they have that's really so fun to watch. And, you know, Thanos has to be like a villain to every Avenger.
Yeah, so Thanos is like a hotep, like really like I'm operating on this like crazy wavelength. I've thought of every outcome possible. Except for, you know, getting my fucking hand chopped off by fucking Star-Lord like a dumbass. Like that's who got you? Oh Lord, I'd be so mad.
Chris Pratt?
Not my hand. That's me if I get my hand chopped off. Not my hand.
I believe that's what you would say, Vinny. Yeah.
Not my hand getting chopped off.
But so they have this beautiful fight, and then they have that train that like deactivates their vibranium suits, and that allows T'Challa to put the freaking dagger in the heart. The only way this could have ended was with a knife to the heart. And then we get this speech from Michael B. Jordan that is incredibly powerful.
My ancestors. I thought it would have been more powerful if we heard a little bit more about Michael B. Jordan's philosophy throughout. I don't know. I feel like so much of it was just him doing mean fucking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's trying to repent at the last minute of like, this was my whole reason. But if you had walked into the chambers with the elders and been like, these are my concerns.
Yeah. Exactly. Like maybe I would have felt a little more bad, but for me that speech did not have to see. You stabbed that girlie to death. Or wait, yeah, you killed Coffee Girl.
He shot Coffee Girl.
She didn't get no speech about her ancestors.
And maybe he could have. I mean, if he had snuck in and like infiltrated Wakanda, like he'd be like gotten citizenship or somehow and like developed a life within Wakanda and then ascended to this, this hostile takeover. Then we could have seen like an emotional. He's connected with someone that he's met. He's fallen in love somehow. He sees the, children of Wakanda, or, I don't know. There's some, the movie was, the way they did it, fuck me. I'm not on your fucking show.
You're allowed to critique. You're allowed to critique.
But I'm saying like that could, if there was a series of, Killmonger's ascension, that would have been a great way for that ending speech to pay off if we had gotten some humanity from him.
I mean, I felt like, especially at the end, he was kind of implying that the Wakandans had put themselves in bondage by not like going out there. He, because he said, bury me with my ancestors that fled from the ship, which is clearly he's saying, don't bury me with my Wakandan ancestors.
Yeah.
And that just, I don't know. I think Killmonger is a damaged person, and that's what I got from that speech, is that his ideas were often, they didn't coalesce, and they were constantly in conflict with each other.
Because he's like a man with no country, or whatever the phrase is. Because he obviously he could have been a dual citizen, and he could have easily been a part of the, like, as they transitioned into like opening that center in Oakland, he could have easily been
it's a Bugatti spaceship.
He could have easily been like an ambassador to that, like, okay, y'all don't understand the culture here, and I don't understand the culture there.
And you know what, Rashawn, to your point, like, sorry to interrupt. I think it would be, to your point, it would have been so interesting to see if Killmonger showed up. Listen to us rewrite this movie, which was excellent, which was an excellent movie.
Academy
which won an Oscar.
Won an Oscar. I think it would have been great if Killmonger showed up and like had a one-on-one with T'Challa and was like, hey, I'm your cousin. And everyone was like, oh yeah, he's your cousin. And then he just starts being a little more duplicitous and works his way into power and kind of starts turning, his friends against him within the court. And it was more of a political threat. I think that would have been interesting.
Because I don't know if this is a relationship that most people, but like seeing like my brother and my cousin, like they're around the same age, they kind of, they're like hood brothers, because they're basically cousins who were born like 9 months apart from each other. And the dynamic of seeing these two people grow up together and love each other, but then there becomes that conflict of like, ooh, one day they're really gonna fight. One day somebody is gonna go a little too far and get, what are you saying?
It sounds like we're describing House of the Dragon at this point.
I mean, it's any political conflict that's within a family.
I truly think if Killmonger had all of these experiences in America, showed up to Wakanda when he was an adult, had the big reveal, the hey auntie, but then insisted he didn't want the throne, but then slowly started kind of sowing these seeds of dissent within the court. Because I don't know if I totally believed that T'Challa's friend in the border tribe just flipped on him like that. I thought that was a little wild.
Well, we didn't really talk about this, but there was the whole Claw thing, because that was Daniel Kaluuya's like, you better bring back Claw when you go to Korea, or like, when you go to Korea, and they failed. So that was like the thing that made Daniel.
And it was a lot, but I don't know if it was enough for me. You know, like that's your king, this person that you've sworn yourself to.
Is that your
and
king?
you knew his father, and you know his mother is literally sitting right there, and like you have someone, and the daughter literally is like powering all of our fucking technology. Like there's a lot of faith was lost in the family after one failed mission.
True.
It was
But that is the thing that happens when you have to do these franchise movies where, like,
once again, incredible film. Incredible
Incredible
film.
film.
Loved
Good,
it,
and
Ryan.
you know,
Ryan was
hey,
so good.
Y'all over in Marvel, I would love to get into anything.
absolutely. I think
Love
this
to.
is all of our audition reel for
Yeah. I'd come down to Georgia. I'll do it all. I don't care where you shoot. I'll be there.
I'll be there. And you know what also is here? Our Fuck, Marry, Kill. This is a segment we do
Oof.
every week. Amazing. I believe Vinny Thomas said we're going to do a Fuck, Marry, Kill. We're going to choose 3 characters from the movie, whether we're going to fuck, marry, or kill them. I decided to make this impossible because this is such a good movie. So I would fuck, marry, and kill. Well, I wouldn't kill any of these people, but I would fucking marry all 3 of these options. So on the docket today is M'Baku of the Jabari tribe, Killmonger of Oakland, California, and Sterling K. Brown of the Pierce family. I will go first to give my guests some time to think.
Wait, no, because we have to discuss. We have to discuss
this.
Because
We
okay,
have to
we have to discuss. But
Wait,
I can't play Would You Rather without just being like to really sift through and just fuck up the whole game. So
Okay.
if you, let's say you were to marry M'Baku, does that mean
Mhm.
you're a fucking like Mormon like fucking Amish person living in the mountains with no technology?
It does
Sure,
indeed,
you're
yes.
Okay, so
and
okay.
This is the first time anyone has like questioned this game. I love it.
Oh, I'm here. I'm welcome. Rashawn Scott has entered the pod.
She's at the pod, yes.
So you are an Amish. You're out there. Can I bring things with me of the like creature comforts or anything, or like?
Of course you can bring things. Yeah.
Does he
Yeah,
have
you're-
multiple wives, or am I it?
I mean, I don't know. Vinny, do you know? Do the Jabari?
I'm not
Are they
sure.
polygamists?
But as far I have no idea. But as far as creature comforts go, the only creature you should be finding comfort in is Hanuman. So let's.
Mhm.
Oh.
You'll probably have to join that religion. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
My question is like just so we're crystal clear. I know this is a bit. Is it Prince Njobu, or are we seriously talking about Sterling K. Brown and This Is Us?
We are talking about Prince Ninjobu. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Excellent.
different.
Who's going first?
I will go first to give you guys time to process because I already have my answers. It's right.
Wait, so if I marry, sorry, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
please.
If I marry T'Challa,
Well, he's not up for it.
oh, I'm so sorry. Who?
It's
Oh, Killmonger. Okay, if I marry Killmonger,
mhm.
with the knowledge of what he's done to the other women in his life.
Exactly. You know what he did to Coffee Girl, so you got to be careful.
You know what needs to be done to Killmonger. I think we're all going to say the same thing.
I mean, I'm gonna go first because like it's in the name. I'm gonna kill Killmonger because
Yeah.
like I saw what he did to Coffee Girl. That was
Yeah.
cool. Like he would not have gotten into that museum without Coffee Girl.
no, he don't
Justice
feel
for
love.
Justice for Coffee Girl. I'm gonna stab Killmonger in the heart just like King T'Challa did. My fuck, I will be fucking Prince Ninjobu. I just think that Prince Ninjobu has a lot of anxiety, and he was adopted by that white family. And I really want to be there for him.
No,
in
no,
this
no.
tough time.
You're crossing streams, brother.
You're crossing streets, brother.
You're doing a lot.
So I'm gonna fuck Prince Ninjobu.
You're talking
And-
about Randall, and I won't have you doing all that. Okay?
Who's Randall? And then my Mary, my king, my gorilla god himself, M'Baku. I will love him forever, like him for always, as long as I'm living my gorilla man he'd be. I can't wait to cuddle him in a snowy cave, and I will move to that mountain. Rashawn Scott,
Okay.
I'm gonna go to you next.
So I would kill Unjobu. Because
What?
let me
This just
this
in.
is my journey. You asked me what I would do in this and this is how I'm feeling right here, right now. He absconded out of Wakanda. He was good, but he again, I don't know how these people treat the women in their lives. Okay, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And I know I asked that question about Killmonger. What I'm saying is he like absconded, left, he wasn't concerned, didn't tell nobody about the baby that he was there. So no, I can't trust that. That's how you're gonna treat my child. No way. Can't do it. Can't have that burden on me. And just me in jail, not in contact with my child, not knowing what the fuck's going on. Did she die in like there's so many questions I have. Okay, so I kill him. I think I could marry M'Baku and live in the mountains. I think that is something that I could do. I'm probably gonna have to sneak up to the city a couple times and just dance with my friends and stuff.
To dance with my friends.
But I just imagine, I'm just thinking, man, the child that I would have with M'Baku, which is oh god, the birthing canal. I just imagine just putting out one of his big old babies. It's gonna be real hard. But I get whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, oh, this bitch is tough. She had one of his kids. It's a wrap. She can be I trust her to be the chief ass of this tribe. And then I'd fuck Killmonger on some revenge shit. Like, yeah, he would just talk to me about like, oh yeah, he just some real hope type shit of like he's trying to convert me, but it's like I'm just here to nut and get out. Those are my answers.
I think those are beautiful answers. Vinny Thomas, please.
All right. First of all, Rashawn, I gotta say, I love the idea of dancing with your friends in the city. Just because I know that there's a club, there's got to be a gay club in Wakanda called like the Sacred Pound or something, like named after the Sacred Mount. You go there and you just dance.
I'm sure it's called Vibes.
Like War Rhino. War Hogs. Sorry, let me get into it. I would say I would for sure kill Killmonger. I think Killmonger is a damaged and dangerous person. So I would kill Killmonger. But I think I would fuck M'Baku because I just would like to visit. I would like to visit the Jabari clan. I'm not built for the cold. I'm I'm petite. So I don't think I would do well up there. And I think that leaves Njobu. I would marry Njobu, and then I would get my son on the throne. And I would fix him. I would fix Killmonger. He'd be a wholesome kid.
I can fix him. I can change.
I would know. I would
kill him. I can fix
both of these
him.
men. I would
for me.
Stop it. I would look at Njobu and I would say, stop dealing the vibranium. You give it back, you son of a bitch. And he'd be like,
vibranium? You think it wasn't just?
Oh, he was stealing it and selling it. He was a dealer. And I would say, get that, and I'd take him to church. and it would be a big Tyler Perry moment, and the light-skinned woman would burst through the doors and she'd start singing. And then Medea would show up and she'd have a frying pan.
Not Medea.
Medea would show up and she'd have a frying pan.
Oh, so you're in Wakanda.
Yeah, I'm in Wakanda. And yeah, it would all be shot in Tyler Perry Studios.
Vibranium. I got a gun in my purse.
Who needs a vibrate when you have a Glock?
Damn.
And everything would be right with the world. I'd fix everything. And of course, I would have to dethrone. I'd have to dethrone T'Challa, but I think it would be for the best.
Wow, man, this was the most amazing fuck, marry, kill we've ever done in this podcast. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Let's just do the wrap up. Please, Rashawn Scott, where can people find you online? If you want.
Sure. Online, you can find me at Rashawn Scott on Instagram and Twitter, Rashawn Nadine Scott on TikTok. You can check out my podcast, Mystery County Monster Hunters Club. If you're into some role playing, it's very much Reno 911 meets like Scooby-Doo. It's for the girls. And season 3 of Southside coming to HBO Max. TBD.
Oh my gosh. She's on Southside, y'all. Vinny Thomas, where can people find you?
Excellent question. You can catch me at VINN_AYY. That's VINN_AYY on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You may also see me on an upcoming Apple TV Plus show called Platonic. It's going to come out sometime in early 2023. I'm not sure exactly when. They haven't given me the details.
Damn, this is the most professional guess I've had. I'm so sorry. I'm floored. These are TV stars. They're on television. I'm screaming. Michael, take my mic down a little bit. I'm Damon Royster. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Damon Royster. On Twitter, it's Damon Royster 88. You can also follow Podcast 616 at Podcast 616 P3 on Twitter. P3 stands for Press Play Productions. Thank you for having us on your network. Also, check out Chilax Comedy. That is a comedy collective I am a part of. Every Wednesday at 7 at the Yard Theater here in Los Angeles. You can see a comedy show produced by someone who used to live in Chicago but now lives in LA. Michael, as producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, can you give us a letter grade for this episode?
A plus.
A plus. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Rashawn. Thank you, Vinny. Wakanda Forever, coming to a theater near you. The podcast will be out shortly after that. So thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, don't forget that with great power comes even greater responsibility.